accidentally sent the verification code meant for my best friend to my top celebrity ex-boyfriend. He replied instantly, 1607? Is that the room number? You finally couldn't resist contacting me. You think I'd actually go? Hilarious. Is it the same hotel as before? On my way. I'll be there in 30 minutes. Don't overthink it. I'm not getting back together with you. It's just that my apartment's water is out tonight. I'm only going to take a shower. Yes, my abs are looking great these days, but that doesn't mean you get to see them. I stared at my phone like a Subway grandpa reading memes and texted back, that was a mistake. Then I turned off my phone and went to sleep. Slept like a baby. The next morning, the internet exploded. The always cool and distant pop idol was caught hugging a tree outside a hotel, sobbing like a boiling kettle. By the time I turned on my phone, the notifications nearly gave me carpal tunnel. Messages flooded in non-stop. Before I could even check them, my best friend Monica called. Rachel. Spill. What the hell did you do to Anthony? I was baffled. Huh? I didn't do anything. No way. Her voice was gleeful, like a monkey bouncing through a melon patch. Who else could it be? You're literally the only ex he's ever had. Check the trending topics, Anthony's ex-girlfriend is dominating the hot searches. I was, on the trending page? A sense of dread crept over me. That's when I remembered, right, I had messaged Anthony last night. Monica had been trying to log into my streaming account to watch a show. I meant to send her the verification code, but I accidentally sent it to Anthony instead. He thought I was texting him a hotel room number, as some sort of invitation. And then he even tried to act casual about it, bragging about his abs. Please. I work in showbiz and see handsome men all day long. Does he really think I'd be impressed by 8-pack abs? I clarified immediately, that was a mistake. But when I checked my phone this morning, he'd sent me over 99 replies. A mistake? What do you mean? Scaredy cat. Are you backing out already? Or, are you inviting someone else now? You clearly invited me first. If you dare invite someone else, I'm calling the cops on you too at the door. Just kidding. You know I never hurt you. Why someone else? You think I can't satisfy you like other men do? Photo, 8packabs.jpg. Oops, wrong image. I didn't mean to send that. You probably didn't see that, right? Photo, alternate angle of 8packabs.jpg. Fine. I admit it. I used to take too long and exhaust you. From now on, I promise I'll be faster, strictly under 1 hour. 50 minutes. No less. Why aren't you replying? Have you already started? Don't sleep with him. I'm just scared you're being tricked. Say something. Please? Just one word. Meme, heartbroken puppy crying in the rain.jpg. I'm already at the door. You two are being really loud. I was too late. I can't give you my blessing. Walking away is the last kindness I can offer. My head spun just reading it. How did we get here? I sent a few words. He turned it into an epic saga worthy of the Code of Hammurabi. And, he actually went to that hotel? He's a top-tier pop star now. Always cool, mysterious, singing heartbreak ballads like no one else. I thought he'd matured. But in private? He's still the same hopeless, delusional romantic mess. An absolute gold medal level lovesick puppy. I took a deep breath and finally gathered the courage to check the trending topics. Half of them were about Anthony. It turned out his breakdown outside the hotel last night had been captured by multiple bystanders and uploaded online. In the video, Anthony was hugging a tree outside the hotel, crying like a boiling kettle. I got here as fast as I could. Why was I still too late? Is that man really better than me? Then he sang, through his tears, my love was so humble, just like a clown, you walked away without a sound, didn't even wave goodbye. The comment section was flooded with gawking onlookers. Anthony's a total simp? I never would have guessed. This ex-girlfriend is wild. Sounds like she invited both Anthony and another guy to the hotel. He just arrived too late. Unforgivable. We must protect Anthony. He deserves someone better, like me. Who's his ex anyway? Someone in the industry? Can we dig her up? I trembled as I read, shutting my eyes in despair. This was worse than I'd imagined. Thank God I'd been careful about keeping our relationship under wraps when we dated. Back then, I was still a nobody, no one really knew me. So even though the topic had been trending for hours, no one had connected it to me. Only my best friend Monica knew the truth. Wait, you're telling me this entire disaster started because you sent him the wrong verification code? Monica's jaw practically hit the floor. I let out a long sigh. Yeah. I'd originally planned to message Anthony and explain everything. But I only got as far as typing, that wasn't a room number, before I realized he'd already blocked me. And then, he posted an emotional essay on Weibo. The moment I deleted you, I finally let go. We can't go back, but what we had was beautiful. From now on, it's a one-way journey. Mornings and nights alone. Even if I miss you, I won't reach out again. The comments exploded again. Don't cry, Anthony. That ex isn't worth it. Bro, is this your new song? Real talk though, this drama might fuel a whole new heartbreak album. We're winning. While Anthony was crying himself hoarse, his fans were laughing joyfully in the comments, already dreaming of his next chart topper. Monica scrolled Weibo, clicking her tongue. This man is down bad. If being a lovesick fool were a crime, he'd be the first one executed. But don't worry too much, she added. As long as your chat logs don't leak, no one will know it was you. Just lay low until the buzz dies down. That was the wrong thing to say. My heart completely sank. There's no laying low. I pulled a long face like I just attended my own funeral. We're filming a reality show this afternoon. Both Anthony and I will be there. Some people aren't dead yet, but they're already buried. When I arrived at the recording studio and saw the seating layout, I nearly fainted. In the center of the studio was a large round table. And my seat was right next to Anthony's. Whose genius idea was that? Anthony was already seated when I walked in. I followed the director's cue and sat beside him. Immediately, his body went rigid. He wouldn't even look at me. He turned his face away, tilting his head at a perfect 45-degree angle to stare at the ceiling, like a cold, aloof statue. The act was so dramatic, it made me want to laugh for no reason. But the moment I smiled, Anthony glanced over and shot me a wounded glare. His eyes said, "You hurt me, and you dare laugh?" Wait a second, wasn't he staring at the ceiling? How did he catch me smiling? I felt a pang of guilt and lowered my voice. Actually, about the message last night. The moment I started to explain, Anthony's expression changed. He deliberately cut me off and asked the director, "When are we going live?" He had that whole I'm not listening, drama queen energy going on. Before I had a chance to clarify anything, the live stream had already begun. The show was called Goodbye, My Love, China's first reality series centered around breakups. The production team had invited 3 couples who had already split, to revisit their past relationships and analyze what went wrong. But Anthony and I weren't among those couples, we were celebrity guests in the observation room. Those 3 couples had already completed the first episode 2 days ago. Our job was to watch their footage and discuss the highs and lows of love from an outsider's perspective. What caused your breakup? That was the first question the show had posed to the 3 couples. After reviewing their responses, it was our turn to comment. Everyone knew Anthony had suffered a major heartbreak the night before. Still, I didn't expect the host to go full frontal with it. I think all 3 breakup reasons are understandable. But Anthony, you're a top-tier pop star. You're handsome and talented. I just can't imagine what kind of woman would choose to leave you. Wait. Weren't we supposed to be discussing their relationships? Why did I suddenly feel like I was being publicly executed? Anthony rubbed his reddened nose and spoke with wounded sorrow. She told me that close relatives can't get married. That's why she broke up with me. The host looked stunned. Close relatives? Wait, are you saying your long-lost siblings? Anthony clenched his jaw. Each word seemed to be squeezed out from between his teeth. She said, "We share the same mother. Her name is China." I shut my eyes in despair, wishing I could melt into the floor. As expected, all the guests were utterly speechless. Then someone began to speak up on Anthony's behalf. She must have cheated. That's the only reason she'd use such a ridiculous excuse. Anthony immediately defended me. Impossible. She's the kindest girl I've ever met. She would never do something like that. Oh really? The kind-hearted girl who booked a hotel room with you and another guy at the same time. That line brought the whole room to a standstill. All eyes turned to Anthony, waiting to see how he'd spin it. His eyes turned glassy. He lowered his head and murmured, "It wasn't her fault. She just sent the room number to the wrong person. I was the one who misunderstood. I thought she wanted to get back together." One of the guests widened their eyes. "Wait, seriously? She actually sent you a hotel room number? What else did she say?" "Just the number," Anthony said softly. Then a few minutes later, she said it was a mistake. Maybe in that moment, she was reminded of our past. That's why she sent it to me. I know she had me in her heart. The other guests looked pained, as if they no longer knew how to respond. Meanwhile, the livestream's comment section erupted. "She sent the room number to the wrong person? Yeah right. She's just messing with Anthony's lovesick brain. Girl's already sleeping with someone else and he's still here reminiscing? Bro, have some self-respect. He's completely hopeless. Not even salt and oil would get through. Tell me what temple to kneel at to find a guy this blindly devoted. I want 3. Everyone was shaking their heads in sympathy. Except me. I stayed quiet as a mouse. After all the guests had spoken, the host finally turned to me, the only one left untouched. Rachel Ashley, what do you think? I instinctively glanced at Anthony. He looked anxious, staring down at his lap, nervously wrinkling his pants with his hands. I had no doubt, if we weren't on camera right now, he'd be covering his ears and running for the hills. Curiosity suddenly bloomed inside me. How would he react, if he knew the truth? I cleared my throat and slowly said, is it possible, the number she sent you wasn't a room number at all, but something else? The host frowned. Like what? Like, a text verification code? In that instant, Anthony looked up. His eyes lit up like stars. The other guests were skeptical. Come on. With all the anti-fraud campaigns these days, who still sends verification codes to others? Yeah, and verification codes are usually 6 digits. Hotel room numbers are 3 or 4. Doesn't add up. But Anthony suddenly jumped in. Some codes are 4 digits. I've seen them. He stared at me intently, a flicker of hope gleaming in his eyes. So, what you're saying is, she just accidentally sent me a verification code? She never actually met up with someone else? Is that true? How could he ask me that? Right now, of all times? I couldn't just out myself on live television. I forced a calm smile. Maybe she wanted to explain things to you, but according to your Weibo post, didn't you already delete her? That was my fault, Anthony said immediately, full of remorse. Do you think, if I try to re-add her, she'll accept? That? I couldn't say. The host, clearly enjoying the drama, jumped at the chance to stir things up. Easy fix. Anthony, why don't you add her right now and see if she accepts? All eyes sparkled with anticipation. The director was already prepping the screen share. Panic surged through me. So many people in the industry have my WeChat. One glance at my profile picture and the secret would be out. Before Anthony could even open his mouth, I spoke up quickly. Let's give Anthony a little space. They've already broken up, no need to drag it all out in public. The livestream comments immediately sided with me. What's wrong with this host? Stop tearing open his wounds for ratings. Look, I love gossip too, but Anthony looks like he's about to shatter. Give the poor guy some dignity. Gained plus 10,000 respect points for Rachel Ashley. She totally saw how hurt Anthony was. While others were blaming him, she stepped in to suggest it was just a missent code. Graceful and kind. Rachel is such a sweetheart. Anthony, forget your ex, look at Rachel. She'd treat you right. Agreed. Rachel may not be as famous as Anthony, but she's beautiful, gentle, professional, and never caught up in scandal. She's literally the ideal celeb wife. If my idol dated her, I'd be happy. Anthony, forget that heartbreaker. Go after Rachel, she's right in front of you. I kept a composed smile on my face, but inside, I was screaming. If the internet ever found out that Rachel and that ex-girlfriend were the same person, I'd be buried 6 feet under, socially and literally. As soon as the recording ended, I made a run for it. Anthony tried to stop me, but was instantly swarmed by fans. I breathed a sigh of relief. At least I survived today's disaster, for now. I dozed off in the car on the way back. The moment I opened my eyes, I saw several friend requests from Anthony, one after another. It really was just a verification code, right? I made $2 million from today's shoot. I'll transfer it all to you. Please. Just tell me it was really a code. Okay, maybe you only said that on the show to make me feel better. Even if it wasn't true, at least you cared enough to comfort me. Why haven't you accepted my friend request yet? I was wrong, okay? Please, just let me add you back. How did he turn a simple friend request into a full-blown chat thread? If I didn't accept soon, he might actually combust on the spot. I let out a long sigh, and accepted. Seconds later, he sent a dancing puppy gif with wild excitement. I replied, it really was just a verification code. I meant to send it to Monica. Anthony immediately fired off 8 exclamation points. I knew it. You're too kind to lie to me. Puppydancing.jpg. Actually, that abs photo I sent last night, I did it on purpose. Pretending you couldn't look? Just me playing hard to get. I've been working out ever since we broke up. I wanted to be in top shape, in case we ever got back together. Want to see more? I can record a full 360 degrees video tour if you'd like. He was gearing up for another emotional epic, so I quickly cut him off. No need. I already sent the money back. If there's nothing else, I'm going to remove my makeup. Don't bother replying. Anthony obediently responded, got it. I read this astrology article that says people with your sign don't like replying to messages. I won't take it personally. All the money I earn is yours. If you don't want it now, I'll save it. When we get back together, I'll give you everything. Not pressuring you to reconcile. Take your time. I'll match your pace, promise. After that, he really did go quiet. Relieved, I went to wash up and unwind. My nerves, stretched taut all day, finally began to relax. There were still a few episodes of the show left to record, but at least we'd made it through today's peak chaos. Things should get easier now. Or so I thought, until I lay down in bed and was just about to close my eyes. Monica called again. Rachel. Check Weibo. You and Anthony are trending again. We were just trending this morning. I'm numb now. It's different. This morning it was all about Anthony's ex. Your name wasn't mentioned. But now? You and Anthony are trending together. What? My head spun as I clicked open Weibo. Turns out, after today's show aired, a few viewers had started shipping Anthony and me as a CP, couple pairing. Their goal? To get Anthony to move on from his ex and fall for me, the good, reliable sister-in-law they endorsed. At first, it was just a small circle having fun. But then, Anthony followed the CP fan tag. And even liked one of their edited videos. A top idol's influence is no joke. Within minutes, the CP hashtag exploded. We were #1 on the trending chart. Anthony's fans celebrated like it was New Year's. Our brother Anthony is finally moving on from the past? Good for him. I used to oppose him dating, but after seeing how badly his ex hurt him, I just want a kind girl to heal him. Out with the old, in with the new. Rachel seems like a great new sister-in-law. Since Anthony and I rarely appeared together, today's footage was chopped and re-edited in every possible way. Tiny moments were zoomed in and overanalyzed. Like the way I sneaked glances at Anthony. Or how he tensed up whenever I was nearby. Or the awkward tension when our eyes met. The breakup show had turned into a sugar-filled romance reel for CP shippers. Fans flooded Goodbye, My Love's official page. Can we get more scenes of Anthony and Rachel together? Help him forget that heartless ex. The production team was quick to capitalize. Got it. Coming right up. So in the next episode, the 4 celebrity guests were arranged to move into the villa, alongside the 3 broken-up couples, to live together, eat together, and help them explore the root of their emotional issues. This meant I would be spending significantly more time with Anthony, in a variety of intimate, domestic settings. The CP fans were thrilled. Anthony was thrilled. I wanted to cry. I was just here to earn a guest appearance fee. Why did I have to live with my ex and help other couples analyze their breakups? We hadn't even figured out our own. Anthony and I had broken up 2 years ago. Before that, we'd dated for 3 years. To be fair, he treated me really well. When we were long distance, he'd video call every day to report his schedule. When we were in the same city, he'd cook and clean without complaint, and stick to me like glue whenever he had time. But we also had our share of issues. Anthony was a singer. I was an actress. He rose to stardom quickly, gaining far more attention than I did. I, on the other hand, spent years grinding in one minor drama role after another, always on the edge, never the lead. He knew how much I loved acting and supported me at first. Until one day, during an action scene, my wire snapped. I was hospitalized with a fractured bone. At the time, Anthony was filming a live gala performance and couldn't come right away. When he finally arrived and saw me pale and weak in the hospital bed, he panicked. From then on, he strictly controlled my schedule, forbade me from doing risky scenes, and even cancelled many of his own jobs just to shadow me on set. I loved him, but I was also suffocating. We fought many times. But Anthony was still overly protective, insisting on reviewing all my scripts, eliminating anything remotely dangerous, even trying to convince me to quit acting altogether, saying he would take care of me. That was the moment I realized I had to be careful. And I finally made up my mind to break up. I knew that no matter what reason I gave, Anthony would never let me go easily. So, I gave him the most ridiculous excuse I could think of. Then turned and joined a new drama production. That series marked my real breakthrough in the industry. My popularity began to rise. Within just 2 years, I had become one of the hottest rising actresses. Hot enough to be invited onto variety shows, and sit right beside Anthony. It was clear to me, Anthony wanted to get back together. But I didn't. The issues that once tore us apart, if left unresolved, getting back together would only mean repeating the same mistakes. The 3 broken-up couples were living in a villa on the outskirts of town. The production team arranged a car to bring the 4 celebrity commentators, us, to the location. The online buzz was intense. The other 2 guests were tactful enough to take the front seats, leaving Anthony and me in the back together. The first half of the ride went smoothly. In the second half, many of the guests started closing their eyes to rest. I turned my gaze to the window, trying to avoid unnecessary contact with Anthony. Until suddenly, something leaned on my shoulder. Anthony's head. He looked asleep. His soft hair brushed against my shoulder, and a fresh, citrusy shampoo scent filled the air. But I knew he was faking. After all, who sleeps with their ears flushed red? Hey, I shifted my shoulder slightly, and he woke up. Miss Ashley. I feel dizzy. I think I'm carsick. He mumbled weakly, voice laced with discomfort and fatigue. Can I lean on your shoulder for a bit? I feel better when I'm close to you. Of course, if it's not okay, I understand. With cameras pointed at us, how could I say no? Besides, he did look miserable. A wave of guilt crept in, and I stayed still. The livestream bullet comments lit up instantly. What's going on? Why is Anthony suddenly acting all soft and clingy? It's okay if not, listen to that pitiful tone. Classic move. Wait, Rachel didn't reject him. Rachel, dizzy? Lean. I'm done. I came to look for subtle flirting, and they're feeding me pure sugar. I'm choking. Not sure yet, but something's up. And just like that, Anthony leaned against my shoulder for the rest of the ride to the villa. Thanks, Miss Ashley. Resting on your shoulder really made me feel better. Gone was the cold and distant Anthony from the studio. Now, he was actively looking for excuses to talk to me. I gave him a calm nod. No warmth, no coldness, just professional courtesy. I made sure to draw a clear line, colleagues. The three couples came out to greet us and teased, seeing you two feels like bad students meeting the teacher who grades their exams. Last episode, we were analyzing their breakups in the studio. Now, here we were, in their space. It felt a little strange. To ease the awkwardness, the show planned a warm-up game. Each male contestant would be blindfolded and asked to identify his ex-girlfriend by touching the hands of the female guests. To raise the difficulty, the producers added me and another female guest into the mix. In the end, all three men failed. Not a single one identified their ex correctly. Bullet comments roasted them. No wonder they broke up, can't even recognize their ex's hands. Wait, why does Anthony look all mopey whenever someone touches Rachel's hand? Something's fishy with that guy. As if echoing the comments, Anthony raised his hand. Was this rigged? How could none of them find their ex? Miss Ashley and I are just colleagues, but I bet I could recognize her hand. Since our CP was trending like wildfire, the director was more than happy to fan the flames. Let's have Anthony try then. See if he can find Rachel among the female guests. Anthony was blindfolded and guided toward us. He didn't go one by one. Instead, he sniffed the air like a dog, then walked straight to me, took my hand, and gave it a gentle squeeze. The touch was so familiar. It was these very hands that once held his, that wrapped around him during countless nights. And his hand, it was still just as warm as before. It's you, Miss Ashley. Anthony removed his blindfold, smiling brightly at me. And just like that, my heart skipped a beat. The comment section caught on too. Wait a sec. Anthony's acting way too whipped. Could Rachel actually be his ex-girlfriend? OMG. I've been trashing his ex while rooting for Rachel as his new girl. Don't tell me they're the same person? Still not sure, watching closely. After the game came a short break for casual interaction. I had just stepped out of the bathroom when I saw Anthony waiting for me outside. There were no cameras here. It was a blind spot. He stood up straight when he saw me, his eyes filled with a kind of gentle concern. Rachel, have you been suffering these past 2 years? His words came out of nowhere. I frowned slightly. What? I could tell. Your hands feel rougher than they used to. Is it because I'm not there anymore to do the chores for you? That's none of your business. I paused, then reminded him calmly, Anthony, we broke up. His eyes dimmed instantly, the light in them cracking like fragile glass. He forced a smile that looked more like a wince. So, we're broken up, and I'm not allowed to care about you anymore. I shot back, and if I quit my job, does that mean I can still collect a salary? Anthony fell silent, then muttered, I know. You fired me. I'm not asking for pay, I just want to be your unpaid labor. A deep sigh rose in my chest. Anthony, know your role. Don't overshadow the show. We're just observers. The three couples are the stars. They're the stars of the show. But you're the star of my life. Be professional. This is a breakup show, not a romance series. I know. His nose reddened under my scolding, and his voice trembled with quiet vulnerability. I'm usually very professional. But if I miss this one chance to be near you, maybe I'll never get another. I just want one more chance. I promise I'll do better. His words pierced through me like a blade, one that opened an old wound I'd carefully kept stitched shut. Memories rushed in like salt, and the ache made me flinch involuntarily. To say I didn't miss him would have been a lie. But there are more important things in my life now. If we were to do it all over again only to end up in the same place, it would just be mutual destruction. Anthony. I let out a weary sigh and made up my mind to cut the ties for good. I don't love you anymore. He listened quietly. His dark eyes stayed locked on mine, unmoving, as if something had shattered inside them. They turned misty, unfocused. After a long pause, he finally asked, dazed, so, you really don't want me anymore? His heartbreak was obvious. He looked like a puppy, standing in the rain, utterly lost. I thought I had already let go. Thought my heart was still. But seeing that expression on his face made my chest tighten so hard I couldn't breathe. My nose suddenly stung. I blinked hard, forcing the tears to retreat. Then I turned away with stiff resolve. Let's go. If we're gone much longer, they'll come looking for us. He must have been truly hurt. Over the next 3 days, Anthony didn't stir up any drama. We focused on the 3 couples in the villa, observing, analyzing, and helping them reflect on themselves, learn from their experiences. One couple's story felt eerily similar to ours. The man was more successful in his career. He thought the woman was working too hard, and offered to support her if she would just quit. He couldn't understand why she was so determined to leave, even though he claimed it was all for her own good. I was just about to say something when Anthony suddenly jumped in, emotionally charged. Why do women have to cling to men like vines? She wanted to walk side by side with you, not just be your decorative flower. Isn't that better? The security you give her is limited. If she becomes a full-time homemaker, her future depends entirely on your conscience. And your anger, just because she won't give up her career, shows that conscience is lacking. If she doesn't suffer from working, she'll suffer from men. At least the pain from work gives results. The pain from men? Might just be pointless. Her success shouldn't be measured by your judgment, it should come from her own satisfaction. If she wants to rest at home, give her a comfortable environment. If she wants to fight for her dreams, give her support and understanding. A man shouldn't be a burden to a woman. He should be the wings that help her soar. Respect her. Make her happy. Don't cage her with your love. Don't try to make her live in the character you created. A flower is still a flower, even if it doesn't bloom. With or without you, she's still her. If you don't wake up now, you'll end up like me, burning in a chasing my wife cremation arc, and not even ashes will bring her back. His words were rapid fire, passionate, and almost breathless, leaving everyone in the room speechless. Anthony had always offered gentle commentary in previous episodes, calm, like a breeze through spring rain. But this was the first time we'd seen him so emotional. Even the livestream chat froze. Whoa, what just happened? Anthony sounds like he's speaking from deep personal experience. Wait, was this the reason he and his ex broke up? That actually makes sense now. Lovesick guys are sweet, but they can be exhausting, always anxious, always needy. That's hard on the girl too. But look at Anthony. He's clearly grown. He's owning his mistakes and reflecting honestly. That takes time. It shows real growth. I was surprised too. I looked over at Anthony, just in time to meet his eyes. They were sad, vulnerable, and filled with a trace of hopeful longing. As if he were silently pleading, see? I get it now. I've changed. I'll do better. My heart softened. It felt like a layer of frost had melted away, revealing a tiny sprout beneath, hopeful and new. The male guest who'd just been scolded stammered out a question, voice trembling. But, she said she doesn't love me anymore. If I change, do I still have a chance? Words can lie. But your heartbeat won't. The host pointed to the heart rate monitor nearby and suggested the couple hold hands and face each other to check their heart indexes. The results were surprising. The woman's heartbeat was steady, cold, even. The man's fluctuated slightly, but not by much. They stared at each other with emptiness. No spark. No heat. The result cast a shadow over Anthony's face too. He was probably projecting a bit. Maybe the machine's broken, the host joked awkwardly, then suddenly turned toward Anthony. How about you and Miss Rachel give it a try? Let's see if the device is working. Huh? Anthony blinked, then looked at me with cautious hope. Miss Ashley, would you be willing? Sure. To be honest, I was curious too. What would our heart rates say now? I hooked up the monitor and sat across from him. He reached out his hand. I placed mine gently into it. As our eyes met, the whole world seemed to hold its breath. It felt like some invisible thread had drawn us back together. I sank into his gaze, his familiar warmth in my palm quietly whispering, "Come closer. Stay." Wow. The other guests gasped behind us, snapping us out of the moment. When I looked at the screen, I was stunned. Our heart rate numbers had both skyrocketed. The machine was nearly overheating. Anthony's face flickered from shock to joy. He looked at me with a goofy grin, like a kid who'd just been handed the world. And before I could stop myself, I smiled back. I forgot to let go of his hand. Meanwhile, the chat was losing its mind, confirmed. Rachel is 100% Anthony's ex-girlfriend. Okay fine, if Rachel is his ex, I believe her now. The verification code thing had to be a real mistake. Someone tracked down where Rachel was that night. Found it, paparazzi caught her throwing out trash in pajamas. She went back upstairs and never came down again. So, Anthony really mistook a verification code for a hotel room number? This is the rom-com plot of the century. He was outside hugging a tree crying, and she was inside chilling in her pajamas? I'm dying. It's official. I ship it. Cool career-driven Queen X clingy crybaby top idol. This is gourmet-level CP content. Meanwhile the three couples are like, wait, are we just side characters in your love story? That night was our last at the villa. Usually I fall asleep quickly. But not that night. I tossed and turned, wide awake. I'd always convinced myself our story was over. That there was no point in revisiting it. But after today, after that heart monitor, that moment of silence, that gaze, I realized I still loved him. And this time, he truly understood what went wrong. Maybe, just maybe, we still had another chance. I lay in bed, tossing and turning, unable to fall asleep. Eventually, I reached for my phone and opened the fan thread dedicated to us as a CP. And once I started scrolling, I couldn't stop. To be honest, it was surprisingly sweet. Even I was a little touched by all those tiny gestures and glances. My finger slipped, and I accidentally liked a post. By the time I realized it, it was too late. A sharp-eyed fan had already screenshotted my like history. I was still fretting over it when suddenly, there was a knock at the door. Anthony stood outside, clutching a pillow, looking utterly pitiful. Rachel, I can't sleep. Can I cuddle with you for a bit? That pitiful look carried a hint of sly anticipation. I lowered my voice. We're still filming. There are cameras outside the bedrooms. I already took them down, Anthony said, blinking innocently. And I have a fever? I feel awful. A fever? I reached out to touch his forehead, he was indeed burning up. His breathing was faint, and he looked weak. I sighed in resignation. All right, lie down first. I'll take care of you. Clutching his pillow, Anthony rushed to lie down, as if afraid I'd change my mind. Rachel, aren't you lying down too? I'll get you some water. As I approached with the glass, Anthony suddenly pulled me into his arms. His feverish head nestled against my shoulder, his breath warm against my ear. Rachel, I saw that you liked that fan post. You ship us too, don't you? Caught red-handed, I wanted to vanish into thin air. Anthony rubbed his cheek against mine. Can we get back together? I know I didn't do right by you before, I ignored your feelings. But I'll change. I'll respect your wishes. If I slip up, you can punish me. We still have those whips we bought, remember? I saved them for you. At the mention of whips, certain memories flashed through my mind, making my cheeks instantly flush. You're sick, stop talking. No, I need to say it now. What if you leave tomorrow and stop talking to me again? I won't, I blurted out. Anthony paused, then his eyes lit up with hope. You mean, I won't ignore you? I looked up at him seriously. You asked if we could get back together. I'm saying yes. I want to give us another chance. In that moment, Anthony's eyes lit up like fireworks. He instantly shed all his earlier weakness and fatigue, wrapping me tightly in his arms. I froze. Wait, weren't you running a fever? That was just a hot towel. Otherwise, how could I convince you to let me in? Anthony grinned and cupped my face, kissing me deeply. Then, can I have an official title this time? I don't want to be the man behind the scenes anymore. Let's go public, please? I laughed. At this point, the whole internet already knows about us. I don't think we have much choice. Anthony beamed with joy. I have to thank my romance brain. If I hadn't mistaken the verification code for a room number, I never would have won my wife back. It was a night of spring blossoms, of blooming hearts. Waves lapped, clouds drifted, and we sank into bliss. But the next morning, just as Anthony stepped out of my room, the fixed camera outside had indeed been dismantled. Yet he happened to run straight into a cameraman with a handheld camera, who captured the exact moment Anthony exited my room. The cameraman froze. Anthony smiled. The internet exploded. CP fans cheered wildly over the sweetest real-life moment imaginable. Our relationship was now publicly confirmed, there was no need to make any announcement. The real challenge now? There were still several episodes left to film for Goodbye, My Love, and we had no idea how to face the other guests and their barrage of gossip and questions. One could only imagine the battlefield ahead. Don't worry, Anthony said confidently, holding my hand tight. I'm the romance-brained one. I'll take all the blame. As long as I got my wife back, I'll be the happiest simp on earth. I smiled, looping my pinky with his, and walked into the studio with him. Later, we walked the red carpet together, attended galas together, and appeared on the big screen together. We crossed mountains and seas, and then we crossed the long, winding road of time. Time surged forward, only to bring back the one I loved. It was something lost and found, a dream finally fulfilled, a love that came full circle. Thank goodness. The one who once stunned my youth is